What's going on, guys? My name is Kyle and welcome back to the game department. Now, if you missed last week's video, you're going to have absolutely no idea what the Bathurst challenge is. So I'll explain it very simply and I'll break it down super quick. The main idea is we take a car, we do 10 hot laps at Bathurst. The fastest lap from those 10 laps then gets put up on a leaderboard and we measure them up against the cars that we've raced and the cars that we're going to add in the future. So today, we're going to add our second car on that leaderboard. So big shout out to Rafal for suggesting this one. This is the BMW M5. I love a cheeky beamer, not going to lie. So I'm very excited to chuck this car around Bathurst, see what sort of time we're going to get, and just compare it to the McLaren. Obviously, the McLaren is a GT3 spec car, so I don't think that this model of BMW really stacks up to a GT3 car, especially in the way of aerodynamics. I don't know how well it's going to do getting some downforce around some of the harder corners at the other end of the track, but I'm sure we're going to find out. So we're going to jump straight into the sim, see exactly how this car acts around the track, and then we're going to jump into our 10 laps, see what time we can get, and get this bad boy on the leaderboard. So this is the BMW M5 E60. I've got this in a manual transmission, and I have no idea how well this is going to go. As I said before, I don't think that the aerodynamics are going to do that well for this car to get around some of these tighter areas, but I reckon it's going to do a pretty good job. So I reckon we jump straight in. We'll see how it goes around some of the turns and see the way it acts when we've got some speed behind it, and then we'll start jumping into our laps. Alrighty, let's give this a go. I'm very excited to see how well this car does. I'm kind of scared. I don't really know exactly how well the BMW is going to take stopping from a really fast speed. I imagine it's going to have, it has quite a bit of body roll, which is very interesting. So I don't know how well it's going to do once we start braking to try and get around some of these tighter turns. I'm just going to chuck it into the first corner here. Oh yeah, we need to brake much earlier, and it definitely doesn't enjoy slamming those brake pads on. So let's, especially at the very end here, when you start to get to 250 kilometers or whatever I think we'll get this car to, stopping from that speed in a car like this, I don't know how well it's going to go. I'm sure there's no better way to test it than right now. We're at 230 Ks. Chuck it into third. God, we need to brake way earlier, or we are going to lose this car. Oh my gosh. All right, let's go up the mountain. Let's see how well this BMW M5 takes on the skyline area. Chuck it around. Oh yeah, we need to brake so much earlier. The poor thing, as soon as you start to really brake hard, the whole thing just starts to get into a slide. Even trying to turn this thing in, it kind of acts a little bit like a boat. And I know that's very unfair of the M5 because we have just come out of the McLaren MP4, which is, oh no. It's a very different vehicle. Very different vehicle. Our BMW is not having a great time. I'm holding the steering wheel at almost a 90-degree angle, and that's just keeping the car straight. All right, let's just try and get it down the track. We definitely need to be a little bit slower just to make some of these corners. Maybe accelerate a little bit harder out of the exit to try and make up our speed. But we definitely can't whip this around at high speed because it just doesn't keep traction, which is obviously no fault of the car. We're not, I don't think it's really designed in the production line to be ripping around Bathurst at high speeds, but I definitely think we need to be a little bit slower to make sure this car makes it back in one piece. We have 10 laps to do, and I don't know how well it's going to go if this is the damage it takes after the first lap. So let's get this back into the pits. Just want to see how it acts. Obviously it's going to be a bit different now because it's a bit damaged, but I want to see how it acts at the end here at the start of the chase when we really have to apply some brake pressure. Oh no. Oh god, I'm foot flat on the brakes and it is just not having a great time. We really need to brake way earlier to try and get this car slow enough to enter the chase. But overall, I don't think it's going to do too badly. It's actually a kind of nice car to drive. Let's try and do this last corner quickly. I was going to go into pits, but I don't think I will. Doesn't help being damaged. I don't think it's going to do too badly. I reckon once we get it down, the first lap or two might be a little bit slow, but I think once I get a little bit of a confidence with the car and a bit of an understanding of how hard it is to actually get this car to slow down, then we'll really start setting in some laps. So, same as last time, I'm going to get these 10 laps in. I'm going to record them all and I'll come back with the fastest lap and we're going to do a bit of commentary over the top because my brain can't do more than one thing at a time. So, I will see you in a second and we'll see how fast we can get this thing to go. All right, here we are, passing through the last corner, ready to start our fastest lap. We're going to pass underneath the finish line and really put as much into this car as we can. Now, I really need to brake a little bit earlier before every corner just to make sure the car will get around. Hug it nice and tight to the left, really push it wide because the rear of this car really likes to slip out, and once that happens, it's all over. So we're pushing up into third gear now, really trying, switching into fourth. I reckon we're going to hit fifth gear before we start going up to the right-hand side of the mountain. But this is definitely a car that you do need to brake early because you start sliding, and as soon as you start sliding, you're going straight into a wall. So we're dropping down into third gear here, really trying to get into this little crevice of the right-hand turn to hold us in, powering out, almost going into the wall, but we want to get on the power early to make sure that we have enough momentum to carry up the mountain. Now we're going to lift off, go into the left here, and then really try and keep the car under control, shift a second to keep it around this left-hand corner to keep it nice and tight and consistent because we want to maintain the speed that we've got. Into third, really trying to pass to the left-hand side without hitting the wall, lifting off and pushing into the right and just making it clear of that left-hand wall there. Okay, now we want to go down to the right-hand side, shifting into fourth, lifting off just to try and get the front of the car to turn in, power back on immediately because we want to try and get as much speed on the exits as we can, lifting off, almost going out wider than we need to, really trying to get the power down and trying to push this car as much as I can. Now we're shifting down into fourth, trying to let the car roll down here and keep as much momentum as we can, down into third, down into second. Now we're going to hold it down here on the left-hand side, really trying to get the power out early, down, and now we're flat foot into third, going to shift down into fourth as well, trying to hug this right-hand wall so we can drop to third and second, and really hug this left-hand corner of Forest Elbow so we can power out pretty much immediately up into third. We really want to try and get as much speed as we can here because we have our speed trap coming up into fourth gear. Now underneath the Bentley sign, we're going to switch over. We're going to have a look at this car on the track, and it does look so good in that Alpine white. Now we're coming up to the speed trap right here, really pushing this car as hard as we can. I'm not going to get it into sixth because we have to brake earlier, and there it is, 266 kilometers an hour. You can see the sparks flying off the bottom of this car, trying to slow it down in time for this left-hand turn into the chase here, really pushing it wide, almost running up onto the grass. We want to hold it to the left, really try and keep these corners nice and wide as much as we can to put our foot down early and keep this momentum pushing. Fourth gear, we need to slow down into second to hit this last corner here, braking well before the 50-meter board. Ryan, keep it nice and wide, straight to the finish line. And our time sits at a 2:36.3. Such a fun lap in this M5. So there you go. There is the BMW M5 E60. It did not do anywhere near as bad as I thought it would do. To hit a 2-minute 36.324, that's not a bad time. That is not a bad time at all. So let's chuck this one up on the leaderboard. Obviously, it's below the McLaren, but because this is a street car, I don't think it has done too bad at all. To hit 266 kilometers on the speed trap is phenomenal. For a car like this, phenomenal. It was very hard to slow it down from that kind of speed, but it definitely got there. And that was great. If you had a prediction of what time you thought this car was going to do, leave me a comment below. I want to know where you guys were at in the sense of times, because I definitely didn't think it was going to be that quick. I genuinely thought this was going to be high 2 minutes, low 3-minute lap times, but to hit a 2:36, I am very impressed. If you have any suggestions on cars that you want to add to this leaderboard, please leave me a comment below. I have a couple from the last video that I'm going to add to this as well. But if you do have some cars that you want to see do this Bathurst challenge, please leave me a comment. I'd love to check them out and just see where these cars stack up. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe. I post videos every week, and you don't want to miss them. If you want to join us on any of our social media or our Discord server, I will leave all of that information in the description. Come and join us. Come and check it out. You won't regret it. If you want to come and join some live races that we do on Twitch, we stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at twitch.tv/The Game Department. You should definitely be there or be a circle. Other than that, guys, I'm going to leave you to it. I hope you had a good morning. I hope you have a good night. Bye.